back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses. Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals, AmbientComfortNJ.com. Kindle Auto, just off exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard. Call 609-465-5000 or KindleAutoplaza.net. Jenkins Plumbing and Heating. Call Jenkins for heating and air conditioning installation, service and maintenance, plumbing, or drain cleaning service. 609-641-6440 or JenkinsPlumbingandHeating.com. First Bank of Sea Isle City, Cape May County's community bank. Dennisville Friends, serving you since 1952. Be the envy of your neighborhood. Cowtown Cowboy Outfitters. Open 7 days a week and at cowtowncowboy.com. Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media, South Jersey.
Sports is what we do.
Segura from a knee throws him out.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios. Here's Josh Hennig.
Well, hopefully you all out there listening to the sound of my voice are having a better day than Philadelphia sports had in the last 24 hours. I mean, for goodness sake, the Phillies lost a game that nobody expected them to lose with Zach Wheeler on the mound. They get basically shelled last night. Flyers basically waved the white flag on the offseason after saying that they were going to be in an aggressive retool. Well, that aggressive retool turned into a sheepish bow out. And with no Eagles going on right now, training camp is in a couple weeks. Sixers are in summer league, and there's only so much you can get excited or interested or juice off a summer league. It's been a rough 24 hours for Philadelphia sports. We'll try to digest it all. The British Open is on. Tiger Woods is playing horrible, but there is somebody who I like is near the top of the leaderboard. We'll get into all of that coming up with DraftKings golf analyst Reid Fowler coming up in less than 20 minutes from now here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. As always, you can join the conversation. DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free, as I said, thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. Also, you can text in at 609-403-0973 on the text board. I'll get to the Phillies in just a minute because I think that there is something very interesting to take out of that game last night. But as you just heard a little bit ago here on 97.3 ESPN FM, a great conversation Mike Gill had with Dikembe Mutombo, the Basketball Hall of Famer, former Sixer big man. And I got to tell you guys, there was one thing that he brought up that, Mike Gill asked him about, the Kevin Durant and the Ben Simmons and these guys wanting out. And it's very pertinent because another big man today has a big decision to make. So DeAndre Ayton was just offered a qualifying offer from the Indiana Pacers. And what's interesting about the Pacers is the Pacers already have a big man in Miles Turner, but the working theory is that Turner is one of those tradable contracts that could help another team land a guy like Kevin Durant. And the reports is that DeAndre Ayton has his offer sheet from the Pacers for 4 years, $133 million. The Suns are actually expected to match the offer. And the reason why this is significant is because the thinking all along was that DeAndre Ayton could be a part of a sign and trade. And Durant forcing his way out of Brooklyn isn't going to happen if Ayton signs an offer sheet. Because according to Bobby Marks of ESPN, NBA Insider, you can't trade a guy with an offer sheet before January 15th. So does Durant stay in Brooklyn until January 15th? Does Ayton re-signing with the Suns, does that make the Durant trade go away? Does Ayton signing the offer sheet with the Pacers, how does that affect Durant? There's so many questions here to be had. And I got to tell you guys, listening to Dikembe Mutombo today really kind of puts in the context the problem, not just the NBA, but the world of sports have today. Here was Dikembe Mutombo just about 30 plus minutes ago with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. Mike Gill asked him about his thoughts on players like Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons trying to force their way out of teams. Take a listen.
How can you wake up in the morning and say, I don't want to be here? And then while you're getting paid $30 and $40 million, So what are you working for? Are you working to place the fan on that city, or are you working for somebody else? Because when you wear that uniform of that city, you represent the entire state, you represent the NBA, you represent the community. But how can you turn your back on that community? That's very difficult for me to answer that question. I think it's something that the NBA need to look at and try to address that issue.
I love how he said that. How can you turn your back on the community? Who are you working for? That's really what the real issue with all of this stuff is. Look, for the people on First Take and shows like that can have all the opinions that they want. But Dikembe Mutombo just stripped away all of the riffraff around this topic and got down to the real nitty-gritty. There was a time that players played for the name on the front of the jersey instead of the name on the back. Today's basketball players and today's athletes in general are all about the name on the back of the jersey, and they could care less what name is on the front as long as the name on the front is assisting them in their endeavors to promote the name on the back of the jersey. These players don't care about community and city and the place that they're in the way they used to. Look at Dikembe Mutombo. He's the guy who's being honored by the ESPY Awards for his humanitarian work. You look at the NFL with their Man of the Year and how, guys, there are guys who literally are like, I want to be Man of the Year. I want to do a great job in my community. Not all athletes are these selfish children out there, but the reality is that in an environment that has been built on enabling and endorsing self-indulgence, basically. Kevin Durant didn't grow up in a world where it was always about the people around you. It wasn't always about the team. Listen, and I understand that not everyone comes from the same upbringing. There's a lot of people who grow up in transient families that travel from place to place. Their AAU team doesn't represent their community. They go to multiple different schools along the way. And, the one and done situation with college has enabled guys to have less of an identity with their schools. So I understand that from the moment some of these guys are young to today, there's never a point in time where things like community and team, these things are not nurtured and built upon these guys. But Kevin Durant went to the Nets to join his friend Kyrie. And if you believe all the reporting out there, and look, that's why I preface it that way before I say this. Look, a lot of this has to do with what you want to believe, okay? I tend to lean and believe and trust the reporters and the people who do this for a living, who have inside. Look, I don't know if you've seen the video, maybe we all haven't seen the video, but of guys like Woj and Shams and these guys who cover the sport mingling with GMs at the NBA Summer League. These guys are having conversations on and off the record that we may never, ever know about. But when people who know those things, like those NBA insiders, are saying Kevin Durant went to the Nets to be with Kyrie, and that Kevin Durant doesn't like how the Nets treated Kyrie, and that is a big part of why he wants out, what that really is saying is that Kevin Durant wasn't playing for the Nets. He was playing on a team that had his friend, and he wanted to play with his friend. And the reason why Kevin Durant now wants out is because he believes that the organization doesn't back him and it doesn't have him and his friends' best interest in mind. So when Dikembe Mutombo says, Who are you playing for? You're being paid $30-40 million. Who are you playing for? Who are you loyal to? The problem is these players are not loyal to the team. They're loyal to themselves. And that's a big part of the problem with today's sports. A lot of these athletes, all they care about is their brand and their image and things like that. Here's the rest of what Dikembe Mutombo told Mike Gill on the Sports Bash earlier today.
We cannot keep the game going the way it's going. Where player can wake up in the morning and say, I don't want to wear this uniform, and I want to wear that uniform. In the NBA, you cannot choose where you're going. You can choose the way you want to play the game because the way you're getting paid, because the way your teammates and the way you're being coached. But choosing where you want to be, I don't know. So maybe next time we will see, before the NBA draft, the guy say, I don't want to get drafted in the top 10. I'll wait until in the top 20 get drafted. Who knows where we're going?
Look, Dikembe brings up a great point because we've heard of stories of guys saying, I don't want to play, for this team or that team with the first overall pick. We saw that in the NFL a couple times with guys like John Elway and Eli Manning. But we never seen in the NBA where a guy be like, I'm not playing for any of these teams. All these teams in the lottery are bums. That's what Dikembe is basically pointing out. Part of the reason why these guys went out of their teams, Kevin Durant originally with OKC, Anthony Davis with the Pelicans, these guys were drafted by organizations that had no winning history. Now, Durant's situation is more disturbing because of the fact that the Thunder got to an NBA Finals and were a 3-1 series lead away from a second NBA Finals. He went and joined the quote-unquote team that beat them. If you can't beat them, join them. And then he left the Warriors because he couldn't get along with guys anymore. And now he wants to leave the Nets because he doesn't like the organization. Dikembe's right. Where the NBA can't sustain this. And it's not that they can't sustain it because of player movement. Look, guys have been moving in free agency for years. But Dikembe's talking about the guy who says, look, I signed a contract, but I don't want to honor my contract. Player movement and free agency was never about forcing your way out of a contract. When Curt Flood and Reggie White did what they did years ago, Curt Flood in the 70s and Reggie White in the early 90s, when they fought for free agency, they weren't fighting to get out of contracts that they signed. They were fighting for the right to get a contract offer from the team that they currently weren't on, because at the time, teams treated players like they owned them, like they were property. It was like an indentured servitude situation. That's completely different than what we're seeing today with these players, especially in the NBA, who are forcing their way out of situations. At what point does the NBA have to make a decision and say, what is the best way to avoid it? And who one of the people who's going to be involved in those conversations? It's Kyrie Irving. He is on the NBPA, the NBA Players Association Players Committee. He's a guy who knows the rules just as well as anyone. There were a lot of reports that Kyrie wanted to stay in Brooklyn, wanted to sign a long-term deal. The Nets were unwilling to give him a fully guaranteed contract long-term. And this is where the rub is. These players want guaranteed money. These players feel like if these teams make oodles of money off of them, these are billionaire owners arguing with millionaire players about tens of millions of dollars, basically. And what happens is that these players feel like I have a small window to maximize my earning potential, and then my career is over. They want that guaranteed money, and the teams don't always want to give that guaranteed money. So the NBA and the players are going to have to find a way to resolve this, because as Dikembe Mutombo said, this is not sustainable, because these guys don't care about the team. They don't care about the community. They care about getting paid. That's a huge part of this conversation. And I think that when we talk about a lot of things, look, like I said, the debate shows can talk about as much riffraff as they want. But I'm going to break it down and keep it real with you guys here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank, Seattle City. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. When you watch these players make decisions and you see on one hand of the spectrum Kevin Durant forcing his way out of another situation, wanting to leave his third team in what, a 6-year period, basically, or 7-year period. And on the flip side of the coin, you see in Philadelphia sports, why are Philadelphia sports fans so miserable right now? They're miserable because a star player wanted to play in Philadelphia. He cared about the name of the team on the front of the jersey, less than the name on the back of the jersey. He was going to take less money to leave Calgary and come to Philadelphia. And what happened? The player wanted Philly, but Philly didn't want the player. The Flyers waved the white flag. So you have two very different situations all playing out in sports world right now. And I don't think either scenario is sustainable. You cannot sustain an environment where players are forcing their way out of contracts they signed because they don't want to be somewhere anymore. But you can't sustain, on the flip side, players saying, I want to go to this team, and that team basically waving the white flag and then trying to tell their fans, we're aggressively retooling, we're trying to win. You can't have both. We'll check in with you guys, say, a little bit later in this hour. Text board is open, 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Coming up next, DraftKings golf analyst Reid Fowler joins us to talk about the British Open. There's a player that I thought was going to win this tournament that is on the first round leaderboard. Who is that? We'll get into that and more, as well as Tiger Woods' struggles, next here on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
This is either the Eagles or the Cowboys division. That's how I look at it. I mean, the Eagles are a very talented team. We talked about, obviously, getting A.J. Brown. Like, they have all the pieces right there. Their defense is solid. But when it's all said and done, to me, it's between the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Listen weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to give you independence. Yes, independence. Like freedom from down payments, freedom from payments for 3 months, and freedom from your old car. Plus, if you have a job and clear $350 per week, Matt Blatt Kia wants to approve you today on any brand new Kia or pre-owned vehicle in stock, or one of hundreds of new 2023 Kia models en route, all with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. So bring any trade in any condition, even if you're stuck in a loan or lease. Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released. Get cash for your car today, even if you don't buy a car from us. But why wouldn't you buy a new Kia? Because you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Unapproved credit plus applicable taxes and fees. See dealer for details. Not all will qualify. Deferred payment through TFCU. Interest accrues from date of sale. Offers don't combine. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 8/7/22. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 and Tom's River.
DQ presents the sound of a summer double play. It's the sound of drumstick pieces and peanuts combined with world famous soft serve to make 2 all-star treats. The drumstick with peanuts blizzard and new caramel drumstick with peanuts blizzard. Grab one today or get it delivered at DQ.com. Official treat of MLB. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Where did I put that?
Pete's property manager just took an extended vacation. He needs a replacement before this becomes a cruel summer.
Oh, you wanted the lakefront for the 17th? How did this get double booked already?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples comp books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents each. Plus, 2 pocket paper folders are only 25 cents each. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. N716 in store only, limit 30.
Come on, giddy up. Get a move on.
Where are we going, Tex? Tombstone, Abilene, Dodge City?
Nope, we're headed east. We got to get going. We still got a long ride in front of us, and I ain't gonna miss Chicken Palooza for nothing.
It's Royal Farms Chicken Palooza with great chicken box, sandwich deals, and more all summer long. Get a 2-piece world-famous box, white or dark meat, for just $6, and 10 cents of each sale will be donated to local charities. You can also get a classic, spicy, or deluxe world-famous chicken sandwich. Plus, you can register for a chance to win world-famous chicken for a year. Royal Farms Chicken Palooza. Nobody wants to miss it.
Come on, you horsies. We're almost there.
Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Sweepstakes ends August 31st, 2022. Chicken for a year prize to be awarded as 8 $100 Royal Farms gift cards. For details and official rules, visit royalfarms.com/chicken-palooza-sweepstakes. Void where prohibited. Sponsored by Royal Farms.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Well, the good news is the British Open round 1 is done. The bad news is for anyone who placed a Tiger Woods wager, you are cooked. You are pretty much you might as well just write that thing off because Tiger right now is +6. I didn't think Tiger would win the tournament, but man, we got to get some answers about what is going on over there. Some interesting names on this leaderboard right now after round 1, and the odds have changed over at DraftKings Sportsbook. So to talk about all of that and more, joining us now, talk golf, is Reid Fowler from DraftKings right now here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Reid, welcome back. How's it going?
Good, Josh. Yeah, I mean, this was a eventful tournament to be watching. If you got up early, if you stayed up late, if you didn't take any breaks, like the starter who does not take a bathroom break and calls every single tee shot on number 1 from the start to the finish. This was a long day.
Now, really quick for those, we had this conversation earlier on the previous show that I produced, Reid. I didn't realize it was actually on USA. I couldn't find on the regular channels, and I popped on Peacock, and I was like, why can I only find like specific pairings? Right. Like I was so confused. It was only around like 1 o'clock today I figured out, oh, it's on USA. Like, I mean, talk about a bad job by me there.
Yeah, but at the same time, probably a bad job by the Open Championship. I'm not to throw anybody or besmirch whoever was in charge of making sure that was known, but USA usually doesn't hold the Open Championship or a major, right? It's usually NBC, ESPN. It's usually one of the big broadcasts. But yeah, now we know, right? Now you know it's on USA. Right. To make sure to have that. So make sure to get it in between Law and Order SVU episode 400.
Well, let's get to what did happen over there at the Open, as they call it. Let's get the Tiger Woods thing out of the way. Tiger was over there for 2 weeks practicing and then just kind of fell on his face, basically. What happened there? It seemed like Tiger just couldn't do anything right.
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of everything. He hit his ball off the tee okay, but when we know Tiger to be the guy who was great with his irons, masterful around the greens, and when you get within 8 to 10 feet, Tiger was automatic. That just wasn't the case today. It was a long round. Some guys ahead of Tiger's group were struggling as well. That probably aided in that. And look, it's just practice rounds. And Tiger has mentioned it before. He hasn't got a lot of competitive rounds under his belt, let alone competitive major rounds, right? So if you're not in that frame of mind and you're trying to chase, so to speak, and then that's why golf is it's in my estimation, the greatest game and one of the greatest sports to watch and just to play, is that even the best to ever do it can struggle and can't master it, even though he is the best to ever do it. So, he's 6 over par right now, and like I don't know. Like, he's got to shoot 66, 67 tomorrow to even probably make the cut if it stays at, around even, 1 under, 1 over, around that number.
Seems pretty unlikely, but golf's an interesting sport. You never know sometimes with these things, like,
Right.
Hey, listen, I didn't expect the guy that Fitzpatrick to win the one major, right? I mean, I didn't know. I didn't hear anyone think that guy was going to win. Well, a guy who I thought was going to win right now after round 1 is the odds-on favorite to win at plus 330. It's Rory McIlroy. Now, look, I'll admit it. I've just been saying, look, for me, I'm no golf expert like you, Reid, but my theory with Rory has been just place the win, place the top 10 finish, and just let it ride with Rory, and the odds are in your favor. And Rory right now, he's sitting there in second place at -6. What did you see from him today?
I mean, what was expected. Like, everything was shaping up for Rory to play well here, and clearly he delivered. He had one blemish, which everyone basically did. I forget if it was like 13 or 14 where they tucked that pin, right behind the bunker, and he just hit his third shot probably 50 feet past. So to 2-putt from where he was actually a pretty good bogey. But look, Rory was trending to this, right? He fit all the trends. The narratives were also in his favor, right? The unofficial official spokesman, I'm sure Jay Monahan, said to him, "Hey, look, we need you to be the voice of the PGA Tour." And probably without Monahan asking, right? This is like, I have no privy to this information. This is just my guess, is that he's basically the guy, right? That's been the defender of the PGA Tour when we're talking about LIV and we're talking about PGA Tour. But aside from that, I mean, he was great. He was great off the tee. He's great with the flat stick, and he's right there at 6 under. Like, I had a first round leader bet on Rory, and if it wasn't for Cameron Young, which we'll probably get to in a little bit, that would have hit very nicely at plus 1400. So he's the one, right? He's the one that probably everyone's saying, okay, how close are you to Rory? Because I don't think anyone believes right now, even though Cameron Young is probably going to win Rookie of the Year, even if he doesn't win this, probably the person to beat right now is Rory.
DraftKings Golf analyst Reid Fowler joining us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at Reid T. Fowler on Twitter. You mentioned Cameron Young. So for all the people out there who are wondering, who is Cameron Young?
Yeah. Like, who is Cameron Young? Like, one of the better rookies, probably one of the best rookies that we've had this season. Not as good as Will Zalatoris was last year, but if you harken back to just this season, the West Coast swing and what he's done, he's got a couple of runner-up finishes. He finished runner-up to Joaquin Niemann at the Genesis, could have easily won that. The Wells Fargo finished runner-up. He lost 2.3 strokes in that event. Something that he's not doing this week is he was missing everything within 6 feet. But this guy is monstrous off the tee. He hits it a mile. And when he gets hot with the putter, he does not miss. And you take a look at what he's done well so far this season. Around the green is fantastic. His scrambling has been fantastic. And his driver has been great, right? So when you mix all of those things together, you're going to get someone who's played well, and first round leader for Cameron Young, guy who starts off really hot. He's done this a few times on the tour, on the PGA Tour this season so far. So it's not completely out of left field. But what I will say, though, is this is why you have to look at the full breadth, right? When you're talking about the Open Championship or the majors or any golfer for that instance, is that he missed his last 2 cuts. And if you heard his press conference or his interview after round 1, is he was saying, like, I wasn't feeling normal until Tuesday of this week because of the time change and because of other things. He changed his caddy for this week from his longtime friend or teammate from college to the Tiger. Excuse me, the caddy's name is eluding me right now, but he's an experienced looper. Changed him this week, and he goes out and he shoots 8 under, no bogeys on the card. So he's a great young player. hasn't won yet. So to win this as his first tournament on the PGA Tour in his first season would be something else. But it's not coming out of left field extremely, but someone who probably most people don't know about.
One name that we have heard of is Cameron Smith. I know that there are a lot of people out there who always say, just trust me, Cameron Smith's going to win one of these. I feel like he's a guy that his name gets brought up a lot. Well, right now he's sitting there right there, -5. That's 67 first rounds, looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, and he was someone that I publicly faded, just because more maybe daily fantasy, but also in the outright market, right? Because I like some guys like Morikawa and Zalatoris a little bit better. And clearly that was at this stage the wrong take. And Cameron Smith right now, look at the things that you need here, right? Putting, green and regulations hit, like it doesn't really matter because they're massive greens and each green has 2 holes in it, right? The outward 9, the inward 9. So like greens and regulation doesn't really matter, but putts, that's what matters. Putting is what matters, and scrambling. And Cameron Smith has been one of the best all season, Josh. And he was trending, right? He finished, solid at the Scottish Open, and he's great at Augusta National. And when you take a look at all of those things combined, and usually Australians playing well in this major because it fits a lot of what they do back home in Australia, right? A little bit linksy, rolls out. You got to be creative around the greens. It's not like what we play in the United States. Like he fits all of those trends, and he went out early. That's the other thing too, is that he went out in the early wave, and we see that was a bigger advantage, not just for weather purposes, but for time spent. Like the rounds, like it was 6.5 hours, over 6-hour rounds for the guys in the afternoon. Guys in the early morning didn't play for that long.
Cameron Smith right now +650 odds over at DraftKings Sportsbook after round 1. So that's excellent odds if someone wants to jump on there and maybe be like, hey man, Cameron Smith, like you just said, this is a guy this is a style of course that he can work with. Speaking of style of course, I want to ask you about the guys with the specific flag next to their name. Robert Dinwiddie, you have the amateur Barclay Brown, Lee Westwood, that's a name a lot of people know. Patty Harrington, he knows this course. Ian Poulter, Danny Willett. What are your thoughts on that group of guys, the guys who, either know this course or regionally understand the link style golf?
Yeah, so the last Englishman to win at St. Andrews was actually Nick Faldo. So like when you take that into consideration, you would think, right? You would think like that's the case. But like you mentioned, right? You talk about a lot of players, a lot of European golfers, especially for the Open Championship. It really caters towards them because this is what they grow up on, right? This is how they, this is the courses that they're used to, the forecasts, the weather that they're used to, the conditions. It doesn't always bear true, right? Because Colin Morikawa won. He won in his first Open Championship. Right. But when you take a look at what Dinwiddie, and this is true with all British Opens or Open Championships, is we get these guys that no one really has heard of, right? And that's the case that links golf can cater to that if you can scramble and if you can make your putts. Like that's what it comes down to, right? And Robert Dinwiddie, for anybody who's following, not Dinwiddie's family, he's 17th. I think he's 1,779th in the world right now in his overall world golf ranking, right? In his official world golf ranking. So like he's coming out of left field. I think the one guy, and this is a guy that I was on pre-tournament, was Padraig Harrington. And he finished at 3 under par, which I think is very solid for the afternoon wave right around there, right? Is that he was coming in, he won the US Seniors Open. Again, that's not a correlation to here, but it's a win recently. So he's playing well. Multiple top 30s, Josh, on the DP World Tour this year. And you take a look at what he's done at the Open Championship, right? He's won back-to-back years in 07 and 08. So he's playing well right now. He was someone either for a top 40 or even in the DFS market, someone that I was targeting as well. And I'm pretty happy that he's doing well so far.
Obviously, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the other group of golfers everyone has their eye on. It's the live guys, right?
Yeah.
Now, right now, Dustin Johnson -4, DeChambeau -3.
Yeah.
But Brooks Koepka, he's over par again. Phil is nowhere to basically be seen up there. What is your perspective right now on these guys? Because, we've heard what Rory has said about it. We've heard what Tiger has said. But right now, it looks like some of these guys are still high-level golfers, and other of them they're just not there right now.
Yeah, Louis Oosthuizen, kind of keeps that record going of under par rounds. I think he shot 1 under today. Yeah, I mean, like you take a look at the live guys, and there's a lot around them, right? Ian Poulter is another one who played well today. And look, like we can talk a lot about like the sentiment around certain players on what they think about the guys who have gone over to live. And a lot of those are sound bites for the media or clickbait. And I get that. I'm not saying that, I don't believe what they're saying, because part of me agrees with what they're saying. But I also see the side of why these guys are over on live. Not to say that I agree or disagree, but I can understand why some of them have gone over to that. Now, just talking about the golf in general, this caters more towards like who are the guys that are playing well, who've usually played well in the Open Championship. And then based on value, what we do here, what we do at DraftKings, obviously looking at DFS and betting, Dustin Johnson was probably that guy that everyone circled and said, boy, at plus 4,000, right? And the sentiment on the live guys of most people not hearing from them in certain press conferences because the media like just maybe doesn't want to talk to them, or the PGA Tour media has basically said, hey, don't talk to the live guys. We didn't hear much from Brooks, DJ, and a lot of these players that we usually hear a lot from pre-tournament. Maybe they came in a little bit more free, right, Josh? Like no one was talking to them, and the media wasn't clamoring them for interviews. No one was following them, and they go out and they just do their thing and they practice. Like it remains to be seen how they'll play coming down the stretch. But yeah, right now you take a look, Taylor Gooch as well, 4 under par. Right? I mean, his comments, I think, were a little misguided when he thought the live crowd was the same as the Ryder Cup. I don't agree with that, especially when you don't play in the Ryder Cup.
Right.
But like, these guys right now are playing well. The number one guy, though, that I'm circling PGA Tour and live is Scotty Scheffler. Shoots 4 under par, Josh, today in the afternoon wave. Goes out at 8:25 tomorrow with another guy that I really like in Joaquin Niemann. Those two players I'd be circling right now if you're looking at showdown or live betting. Those two guys at the top right now are guys that I'm looking at, with some others I'm going to sprinkle in the top 20 market as well.
Scotty Scheffler plus 750 over at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. So some definitely value there. I want to ask you, though, of the guys over on DraftKings Sportsbook that are not, Rory, Cameron Smith, Scotty Scheffler, maybe the guys, who are a little bit outside of that 3-digit plus, maybe the 4-digit plus guys, who is someone that you personally like that you're saying, look, whether it's, someone playing DFS, whether it's someone live betting, someone is like, look, I really got a feel for this guy. Is there someone out there that you like?
Yeah. So I'd probably stay away from the outright market right now, just because it's tough. And when you have Rory, Cam Smith, who's up there, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, all guys within 3 or 4 of the lead, like it's going to be tough for anybody right now who's in that 4-digit. Like I mentioned, Joaquin Niemann is probably my favorite, but probably where there's positive EV or expected value, right, is in the derivative market, top 5, top 10, top 20. And you take a look at Joaquin Niemann right now, plus 550 for a top 5, plus 240 for a top 10. I don't mind that at all, Josh. I think you take a look at what he's done, what he did, right, in shooting 3 under. He missed a putt on the last hole from like 6 feet to shoot 4 under. And if he was at 4 under, his number would be probably around Cantley's right now, right, at plus 3,000. So he's one that I'm circling. And one other guy, Max Homa. Like I liked him pre-tournament, even last week where I got a futures on him. He missed so many putts within 15 feet, even within 10 feet. And he usually doesn't do this. He's one of the best on the PGA Tour right now inside 10 feet. He's playing with Tiger. There was so much media buzz on him playing with Tiger, and that tweet that came out from 2013 where he wanted to play with Tiger after winning the NCAAs. I think there was a little bit of, oh my God, this is exciting. I'm playing with my hero at St. Andrews at the old course at the major tournament. I think he settles down a little bit tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see him, especially because they're going on in the morning, go out and shoot 3-4 under par. His top 20 number right now is at plus 400. And Max Homa has been one of the best tee to green. He's 19th in the world right now. Again, I would not be surprised if Max Homa plays extremely well tomorrow.
He is Reid Fowler, covers golf and the NFL over for DraftKings and DraftKings Sportsbook. Give a follow on Twitter at Reid T. Fowler. Reid, go get some sleep. I know it's an early wake-up call in the morning. Enjoy yourself. And I know you're probably not getting much sleep either because you have a newborn. So it's like the double whammy you got going on there. So congratulations on the newborn, but also I got to wake up early anyway.
Yeah, actually, it's not too bad. This tournament is actually great when you have a newborn because you're out at, the wee hours of the morning or night, doing the feeding. So, and letting my wife sleep because she deserves it more than I do. So it's not too bad. So there's a silver lining, I guess, Josh. But
the question is, does the golf help the newborn sleep?
Oh yeah, and like golf is the best sport to watch when you're tired, right? It's the perfect napping sport because it never gets too loud. Unless you're watching with me and I'm angry tweeting or being angry that, the Finau missed another 3-foot putt. So yeah, I just got to keep it down. I just got to, change my way I watch golf.
As long as the baby's first words are not Finau, you'll be fine. So
yeah, hopefully it's not another F word that I've been using watching Finau, Josh. Hopefully.
Reid, take care of yourself. I appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks, bud. Take care.
Josh Hennig here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea City. Lots of great stuff there from Reid. One of my favorite points he made was about Cameron Smith because, this is a guy, as he said, he's a guy that everybody says, oh, this guy's going to win one of these, right? And right now, the odds are still at a good value to grab him. And look, it might not even be, placing a bet per se. Maybe it's just throwing out there one of those second chance, fantasy golf lineups. And you're like, look, I'm going to put Cameron Smith and Rory and, maybe Dustin Johnson or Sky Shepard, whoever it may be, Ian Poulter. There's a lot of ways this tournament can run. And I got a feeling that, Tiger Woods is not in it. But like I said to you guys previously about the U.S. Open and the PGA Championship, even without Tiger, there's a lot of drama going into this weekend. And as long as the drama can carry us, it's going to be entertaining. The thing I can't stand, even when Tiger was winning, I always couldn't stand when a golfer ran away with a tournament. To me, there's nothing better than drama on Sunday with a major tournament. It's the same thing when it comes to any of these individual sports. I love seeing greatness, but I get fatigue when it comes to seeing greatness run away from the field every single time, or just anybody running away from the field, because whether it's golf or tennis or MMA or boxing, whatever the individual sport is, seeing someone just completely destroy the field, it's amazing at the time, but then you look back and you're like, wow, that wasn't that memorable, except for when Tiger did it, the Masters, the 1 year. Very rarely is a dominant performance, utterly and above and beyond memorable. When Mike Tyson was knocking guys out left and right, after a while, you're like, man, is he ever going to beat this guy? And when Buster Douglas finally beat him, it was like, oh, whoa, Tiger finally got beat by somebody. What happens now? Tyson gets beat by somebody. What happens now? For me this weekend, I want to see Rory and Cameron Smith and a few other guys all within a couple shots of each other going into the final round competitive, because otherwise I have zero interest in waking up early to watch this tournament if there's one guy way ahead of the field. I'm Josh Hennig. This is GameNight here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea City. We'll check in with you guys up to say on the text board, 609-403-0973 on the text board. And you could DM the show to the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea City.
This summer,
0-2 on the way. Swinging a high fly. This is blasted out to deep right center field. Forget about it. Bryce Harper.
We plan on giving South Jersey something cool, because it's going to be a hot one.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Elevated the heater at 96 to get out of the inning. Heck of a job by Zach Wheeler.
Your official station for Summer at the Shore. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Alert! We're under construction at Sport Hyundai in Egg Harbor. It's time to make room for our new and improved facility, and you're the big winner. We're clearing out inventory with our incredible construction reduction sale. New Santa Fe's, Tucson's, and more in stock and priced to move today with Hyundai Assurance and America's best warranty, including the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Use our main entrance on Black Horse Pike. Construction reduction deals are once in a lifetime, and this inventory won't last. See for yourself in person or at sporthyundai.com.
Where did I put that?
Pete's property manager just took an extended vacation.
To see the dreams.
He needs a replacement before this becomes a cruel summer.
Oh, you wanted the lakefront for the 17th. How did this get double booked already?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh, now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
All right, where are we going for breakfast? I kind of want a breakfast quesadilla. Oh, I didn't know they were doing quesadillas for breakfast these days.
Well, Taco Bell is.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they have this Bell breakfast box now that comes with this breakfast quesadilla that's super cheesy and a hash brown.
Okay, wish I knew about this earlier.
And it has Cinnabon Delights and a coffee in it.
Why did I not know about this earlier?
Try the new $5 Bell breakfast box, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations during breakfast hours only, 7 to 11 a.m. for a limited time. Contact local store for prices and participation when fair. Tax and extra. Drinks exclude freezes.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples comp books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents each. Plus, 2 pocket paper folders are only 25 cents each. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. N716 in-store only, limit 30.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Progressive presents Married to Your Home.
I'm disgusting.
Oh, House, don't say that.
You could live someplace so much better than me.
That's not true.
Oh, yeah? Look at these uneven stairs. Gross.
House, you know I don't care.
And the squeaky door hinge.
I think it's cute.
No matter how much you already love your house, you'll love it more knowing you could save big bundling your home and auto with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by the AC Airport. Plan your next vacation now with Spirit Airlines. They're offering nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Boston, Atlanta, San Juan, Miami, and other exciting destinations. Visit Spirit.com today to book your next vacation getaway. Text board is open as always, 609-403-0973 on the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea City. A couple messages coming in. We opened the show talking about what Kembe Mutombo said about the NBA. We also just talked with Reid Fowler about the British Open. First, we'll get to Joey D. and Ventnor. Says, Josh, great golf insights. Roll with Rory McIlroy. I have him in my bets each time he plays, and it's paid off. Cam Smith is my guy, too. Yeah, and look, I've always said when it comes to, well, there's two things I've always said about sports betting, okay? One is, when they have the disclaimer, please bet responsibly, part of that is because if you're going to get involved in that kind of stuff, all right, you got to place wagers on things that are not emotional. Look at the news that came out of Vegas. There's a guy who dropped $10,000 on the Sacramento Kings to win the NBA championship. I'm willing to bet you everything I have the Sacramento Kings won't win the NBA championship, and I would be right. And that guy's at $10,000. Why? Because he didn't bet responsibly. So betting responsibly is more than just about addiction and stuff like that. It's about the fact that if you're going to throw some money on something, you got to get involved in these things. You got to roll with what makes sense. Listen, I've always said, and Joey D agrees with me, and Reid Fowler kind of gave me the hat tip about this on the feed as well. It's the idea that you got to roll with what's working. And Rory getting a top 10 is probably one of the safest bets in all of sports right now. Cam Smith, look, I understand he's a very popular guy, and I hope it works out for you guys, both you, Joey D, and Reid Fowler. My question with Cam Smith is, I need to see him in the final, group of players in pursuit. I feel like he's a guy we talk about a lot on day 1 and day 2. I need to see him on day 4. I need to see him on Sunday, chasing after things. Okay. Look at a guy like Xander Schauffele. This is a guy who has never missed the cut at the British Open. Think about how crazy that is. That's per ESPN stats and info. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win, but it's looking at a trend like that and look, this is a guy who I know is going to be there on Sunday. He may not win the tournament, but I know he's going to be there on Sunday. And that, to me, is the real definition of please bet responsibly. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's about going out there and saying, look, I'm going to jump on DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm going to jump on whatever my sportsbook is, and I'm going to rock and roll with certain things that I have a good feel for, right? So that's how I kind of look at it. That's why I always tell you guys, if I'm going to give out advice on the radio, I have to rock and roll with the same advice personally, because I'm not going to be up here one of these degenerate people who's just telling you to make picks and then saying, well, if you lost, it's on you. It's not on me. No. That's completely disingenuous and unfair. Over on the text board also at 609-403-0973. Thanks again to Joey D from Ventnor for chiming in. Mike in Marmora chimes in, is Josh, on the NBA, why don't owners and franchises just stop offering these enormous contracts to players, or better yet, have a void clause if a trade is requested? To me, guaranteed money has gotten out of hand. It's hitting leverage before you know your asset. That's Mike in Marmora. Couple things, Mike. One, the reason why these owners of these franchises offer these enormous contracts is because the historic tradition, the years and years of the way of doing things has been, you offer this guy all this money and he's happy with the money and he'll stay. It has evolved from that to guy gets money, money's not as important as, getting what he wants. And I think that's why the owners are offering the money, because the players are asking for the enormous contract. Now, as you said, is it better to have a void clause in place if a trade is requested? I think these are the conversations the players and the owners are going to have when they turn around and they have their next collective bargaining agreement, because I think the players and the owners are going to have to find a way for these guys to get out of their deals. Now, maybe there's a way to say, look, you get guaranteed money for the length of you playing for the team, but the moment you ask out, the team is allowed to get out of your voided money. Maybe there's an official process these players and these teams can go through to void a contract to allow the player to just go wherever he wants if he demands out of his situation. Maybe there is a way to do that. Listen, I understand that you feel the guaranteed money has gotten out of hand, okay, Mike and Marmora, and I appreciate you bringing up that point because that's the other side of this conversation. And I mentioned this earlier on the show here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on Game Night, and that is the reason why the guaranteed money is so important to these players is because the guaranteed money is the money that they live off of for now and forever. The guaranteed money is supposed to be the thing that changes their lives, their children's lives, their families' lives. That's why the guaranteed money has gotten out of control, because Dame Lillard getting $60 million, that's not about Damian Lillard being worth $60 million. That's about Dame Lillard wanting the guaranteed money because he wants to make sure that no matter what happens, the money's in the bank, as they like to say. So if the money's in the bank and you don't have to worry about the money, then you have less stress, you have less worries, you have less concerns in theory. The owners don't mind, not that they like it, but they don't mind giving out the guaranteed money because they feel it might be an investment worth making. A superstar player is always going to be worth the money because they're going to sell jerseys, they're going to sell tickets, they're going to sell endorsement deals. They are worth their everything in gold, basically. The problem is then you also see guys like Tobias Harris getting big money. And Tobias Harris is not going to add to your bottom line. He's not going to guarantee you a return on that investment in terms of jerseys and uniforms and other things. So that's, to me, where the guaranteed money has gotten out of hand. You have to, if you're going to give out this money, you have to do it in a way that protects yourself as well as everybody involved. And I think that's where the rubber meets the road, and the players and the owners don't see eye to eye. Great stuff, everybody. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night.
The best way to wake up is with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.